Hey guys, so it is December 1st, 5:57 in the morning as of the time of recording this video. I'm gonna have to explain to you guys what happened on November 25th. I'm gonna keep it really simple and just honest. Me and Jared were not friends anymore because the friendship wasn't working for me. I needed space and distance, and I'm moving forward with that decision. I've been thinking about our friendship, and I feel like me and him have grown apart. I realized that the friendship between me and Jared wasn't healthy for me or anyone. I still wish him the best, but I need to step back for my own well being because I was getting really angry and really toxic and really hateful, and I just don't want to be that person. I felt hurt by the things that were said and done, and when I tried to address it, I really didn't feel understood. I'm choosing to move on for my own peace. I don't hold grudges. I just need distance and like space from him. As of what happened on November 25th, we aren't friends anymore because I felt disrespected multiple different times because of other things that I won't address in this. But what ended our friendship, like the argument that ended the friendship, I'm not going to go into every single little detail about everything that led up to it, but I'll tell you guys what happened. So, November 25th was on a Tuesday. Weeks prior to this, fuck off alarm. me and my friend Peter, and Josh, or Josh might have not reminded Jared, but I know me and Peter reminded Jared that we were gonna have a sleepover that day at Peter's house, and we reminded him multiple times throughout the week, and he never, like we reminded him like multiple times over the weeks that went by. It was like about 2 weeks, I think, and he just, I guess, didn't acknowledge it, and his excuse was, he just forgot. He never said that I was sorry that he wasn't gonna make it, um, and then he basically pinned it off as it being our fault that he forgot that we had a sleepover that day, so he never told his mom, and his mom basically said no. And I told Jared, I'm like, listen, dude, we're still friends, but like I'm done making plans to try to hang out with you because this is not the first time that he's forgotten that we had to do something a specific day. And because of that, it's just like I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not gonna go ahead and give myself the headache to, you know, try to come up with a schedule that we can all work with if he's just not gonna, acknowledge it at all. Anyways, so I digress. Because of that, I told him, like, if there's ever like, you know, an open space for you to come hang out and you're free and you want to hang out, go for it. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to make time to hang out with you no more. I didn't tell him that we weren't gonna hang out anymore. I just told him I'm not really gonna try to like you be like, yo, let's hop on the Xbox next day, or yo, let's hang out and go out to eat the next day. I'm not doing it no more because he's bailed on us multiple times to either go hang out with other friends or do other things or other shit. And I'm sick of it, and I just don't want to do that anymore. So I told him, like, like that's what it was. And he blew up on me saying that all of our lives were better than his, which I'm not going to go ahead and, directly try my best to compare my life to his, but I will tell you this, and I'm going to say this and leave it at this. He has a lot more shit that I wish I had that I will never have. So I'm going to leave it like that. If he sees this, he knows what I'm talking about, and he can, not talk about that bullshit. Now, in regards to the argument that like transpired afterwards, of which I was on the phone with Peter and Jared whenever we were talking to him about this. Me and him, we were talking to Jared, and we're like, dude, like it's ridiculous that you're a 20-year-old dude, you're a 20-year-old man, and we have to constantly remind you just for you to still forget anyways. And it's not like we reminded him 2 weeks ago, then he forgot. No, we reminded him multiple fucking times over a span of 2 weeks to be like, hey, ask your mom if you can stay the night on this day. And he never did. He said he would, and he never did. So it's ridiculous, and we're not going to go ahead and get a hold of his mom and ask her, because like he's 20 years old. He should be able to do this himself. Like, get real. Another thing is that when me and Jared get into disagreements or arguments, or actually when us and the guys, like him and the guys, do it, like he puts blame on everybody else but him. He plays victim, and he acts like a child. He's always missed me with that weak ass apology. He's always missed me with that fake shit. And I don't do that. Like, I'm just not a fan of it. And because of it, it's like I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going to go ahead and like try to get an apology out of Jared that's going to be fake and haphazard, because it's just not who I am. I don't really see myself being friends with Jared again, because he acts like a man child. He does not ever act his age or act like an adult. And I'm not an adult. I'm 17 years old. But it's ridiculous that me, the 17-year-old, acts more mature than the 20-year-old. Like, we have talked to Jared and we're like, dude, you can't technically live with your parents forever. Like, you've got to get a job at some point. You got to do something with your life. And he just doesn't. He just sits on his ass and does nothing all day. And that's just the truth. And it sucks really saying that out loud. But I was even talking to my grandma about that, and she even sided with me about it. And she's like, yeah, he should get up and like get a job and do something with his life. But he refuses to take the steps into maturity and actually being an adult and doing something. All he does is sit on his ass and play games all day. And the fact that I'm not an adult and I do more shit than him is fucking ridiculous. Let me put it to you guys in this way, in short. Jared, he is 20 years old. He has never signed a job application in his life. He has never bothered to try to get his permit. One time we were talking to him about it, he made it a whole fucking argument, and he's like, well, no one ever tries helping me. And I'm like, dude, first of all, not you. Sometimes you just gotta fucking help yourself. But me and Josh have offered to help him. Josh offered to give him a fucking ride out of town just so he could take his like permit test and shit. And Jared just doesn't want to do that. Josh even offered to drive him to work free, no fucking gas, like, and he just declined because he's just lazy. He just doesn't want to fucking do it. Like, there was a time when me and Jared were close, but over time, like, I realized that the friendship wasn't balanced anymore. I was putting in effort, but I didn't feel it in return. I felt ignored, and it just became clear that staying friends was just hurting more than helping. So I made the choice, and, this was like a really hard choice, but I chose that, I'm gonna step away from this shit. I'm not doing this no more. I'm fucking sick of it. And I didn't do it out of resentment, because I don't hate Jared. I love him to death. I've been fucking friends with him since I was in kindergarten. Now I'm a senior in high school. Okay? But I stepped away out of respect for myself. And I just want to make that really clear. That I did that out of respect for myself. So what this all boils down to is that Jared never ever acknowledging us, or acknowledging that, hey, us being your friends, out of respect for us and out of respect for yourself and your mom and your dad, please, for the love of God, start doing something with your life instead of wasting away. And this wasn't like what ended our friendship. What ended our friendship was just the fact that he acts like a fucking man-child. He does not ever admit when he's wrong. And, I was wrong for saying lots of hurtful shit to him. In response to what he did, sure, but I could have just kept my mouth shut. But I didn't. So, And even then, that wasn't going to really affect the outcome of the situation. I still chose to step away because it was getting really toxic and I'm just not for it anymore. And that's just what it all boiled down to, was the fact that Jared can never admit when he's wrong, never admit when he's at fault, and never ever bothered to take the actions to make a change. He acts like a child. And the only way I ever, and if he sees this, good, I hope he does. The only way I ever find myself being friends with Jared again is if he grows up. This is not just me saying it. Other people in the group have pretty much kind of said it. Ozzy, his cousin, himself said that, he'll always be my flesh and blood and always be my family. But as a friend, I'm not going to be his friend no more until he grows up. And Ozzy has to deal with Jared's bullshit more than anybody. And I'm not going to discuss some of the shit that's happened between them two, because that is between them two. If they all want to talk about it, they can go ahead. I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm going to talk about my personal experience with Jared, being that anytime I'd ever talk to him about something, it would go in one ear, right out the other. And he basically would always pin the blame on not just me, but others. Never admit when he's at fault, and never apologize. And when he would apologize, it'd be some fake-ass apology. So, that's what all that boils down to. As much as this video saddens probably the audience and the loyal fan base, the very small loyal fan base I have, mind you, it saddens me a hell of a lot more. Because like I said, I've been friends with him since I was in kindergarten. I grew up with him. He has always lived walking distance from me. And the fact that I have to end mine and his friendship really, really puts a hole in my chest. But it's for the best. And I'm confident I can heal from it. But what I really genuinely hope, and I really hope he hears this, if he is watching, Jared, if you're watching, I really hope you grow up. I hope you become the actor you want to become. I hope you follow your dreams and do the shit you want to do. Because I'm going to say this right now, the way you're going about it right now, you're never going to succeed doing this type of shit. So, what it all boils down to is why I'm not friends with Jared anymore. Here it is. The friendship wasn't good for me. Every issue turned into him guilt tripping or acting like a man child instead of owning up to anything. And anytime I tried to have a real conversation, it went out one of his ears and out the other. I was always the one trying to fix things while he refused to take any responsibility. After a while, I realized I wasn't talking to a friend. I was talking to someone who only cared about being right, never cared about actually listening, so I stepped back. And like I said, this was not out of, resentment. This was out of self-respect. I'm not friends with Jared anymore because he never took responsibility and guilt tripped. I'm just done dealing with that. That is all I have to say. That is all I'm going to put it in. Like I said, I'm not going to elaborate on a lot of what happened to really me and him and the guys prior to me and Jared's falling out. But I did let you guys know a little bit about the exact... I let you guys know about the day that it happened and what happened at that day. But I don't really need to go into a lot of detail about what happened about it prior, because that's honestly just between us all. And if you guys were wondering, yes, me, Xavier, Ethan, Josh, and Peter, we're still good friends. And that's not going to change, but do not expect to really see videos with us and Jared anymore, much less anytime soon. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Bye-bye.